young lady who was a pastor some few years ago, who gave a riveting speech at Atlanta City Council, and that speech went viral. Put up the picture full mass. At that time, it was basically a local police problem. After prosecuting the protesters last week and sentencing them to a total of 450 years in prison, the Trump administration is now looking to make an example out of the Cop City protesters in Atlanta next. The U.S. federal government is sweeping up protesters against Cop City, a police training center outside of Atlanta, in its push to prosecute what it calls Antifa, even as state attempts to prosecute activists over the same incident failed for the second time this week. Quote, it's the federal government creating a boogeyman and then finding incidents to match, said Xavier De Janin, an attorney who represented Dr. Hanakas, one of the three defendants named in the Cobb County, Georgia case that a judge dismissed on Monday. Now, for those who may not know the background to Cop City, the argument or the point of contention is this, simply put. The city of Atlanta made a decision to build this Cop City training facility inside of a black neighborhood without asking a single resident. And this happens to be a historical district. Mama them. The people who made Atlanta all that Atlanta is. So they forced this on that community. Now, they would have never done this in Buckhead because Buckhead, that's white and affluent.
Color federal men lawyers and color federal men judges. So humanitarian disparagement is brutality upon American soil. If killing was unrightfully, let's watch more.
But since a lot of folk in Buckhead like the police so much, why would they not build it in Buckhead? The problem is they never posed the question to the residents of that community, and they should have. So the residents spoke up, spoke out. They said they didn't want it. And because the city did not listen, young people advocated for the elderly people who could not advocate for themselves. And that is your point of contention with Cop City. Now, some may say, well, what's the big deal? It's a training center. Well, they got Black Hawk helicopters. You have shooting gun ranges. It's a training center. You have controlled explosions, the whole nine. That's inside of your neighborhood. The federal and state cases center on a protest outside the offices of Brassfield and Gorey, the lead construction company behind the police training center. On the 12th of May, 2022, about 50 protesters gathered at a suburban Cobb County location with banners and chants. Cobb County is in the metropolitan area of Atlanta. Locals have long resisted the $109 million police training center that opened last spring. Yeah, and that was the other thing, the price tag, all right? So taxpayers did not agree to this either. As a matter of fact, everyone who ran for mayor, nobody ran on building Cop City. Wasn't a need.
So cops hold the position as a demand. To build security, defense for the population, right? Color federal men lawyers, federal color men judges. Let's listen more.
Nobody was hungry for it. At the aforementioned protest, several allegedly set off fireworks and caused damage to the company's property. Those actions led the state attorney general, Chris Carr, conservative, to include 3 people in the criminal conspiracy, or RICO, indictment of August 2023. Several years later, in December, a Fulton County judge dismissed the indictment. The state has since appealed against the dismissal. The judges are seeing through bull, and the charges are not passing the smell test of statutory and constitutional law. There's more. Then in April of this year, the state tried to indict the same 3 people over the same act in neighboring Cobb County. Judge Robert E. Florney dismissed that case on Monday, writing in his decision that the defendant's constitutional due process rights had been violated by the inordinate delay between the time the crimes charged here were allegedly committed and bringing of the indictment. Nonetheless, the Department of Justice re-indicted 2 of the 3 individuals, Katie Mary Cloth and Tyler John Norman, earlier this month. The federal government seems to be empowered by how well its Antifa narrative worked in the prior convictions, Pearland. And remember, just for a note, for those who may be seeing this for the first time and trying to get more context, Antifa doesn't exist. Not an organization. It's not a terrorist group. It's not a domestic terrorist organization. It literally is fake. There's no such thing. It is a fiction of the right. But it has been utilized as a branding methodology to do exactly what they're doing, provide a pretext or context to restrict, limit, and sometimes even arrest. It's very sad. Will Potter and
Okay, color federal man lawyers, you understand this conversation. Stop cops patrolling and protest analysis. Thank you.